What are some of the greatest enemies for spiritual growth? I know many of us would say sin, maybe people, but there are some other enemies that, or I should say things that hinder our spiritual life. And those things could be named in noise. How can we grow spiritually when there's so much noise around us? Also, confusion. It's pretty hard to grow spiritually when we're filled with confusion. We don't know what's happening. And then also, busyness. We get too busy to take care of our soul. We've heard people say, wow, I've been too busy to take care of my body. But how often does it happen in our lives that we are too busy to take care of our souls? Well, I'd like to think about this whole subject of busyness and noise. And what does God's word say? Well, Psalm 62, of which I've been looking at Psalm 62, and it's been a real blessing. And it says this: "For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation." Now, notice the psalmist is concerned about his soul. And so often, you and I, really, we forget about our soul. We worry about our physical well-being. We worry about our financial well-being. We worry about our social life. But we oftentimes forget the well-being of our soul. And here the psalmist is saying, "For God alone my soul waits in silence." Notice he is waiting. Now, this is not a physical waiting. This is a spiritual waiting. It's a time of silence before God. See, the psalmist is saying here, I am waiting upon God, because God alone can bring quietness to a soul that's filled with noise everywhere. God alone can bring clarity in a time of confusion. God alone can bring rest in a time of busyness. And so God is the one who brings that peace to our soul. And that's why the psalmist says, look, I am going to wait upon God, because he alone is going to revive my soul. He alone is going to bring growth in my soul. He alone is going to bring peace amid the confusion in my soul. And so the psalmist says here, in God alone. And then notice what else he says here. My soul waits in silence. So often we come to God and we have all the answers. We're not listening to God. It's like, I have all the answers, God. And I've experienced that in my life, and I'm sure you have in your life. You kind of pray already knowing what the answer's supposed to be, because you've already determined it. But God says, wait. I want you to wait, be still, be quiet on me alone. And that word silence is really critical, because we live in a world where there is no silence. I'm amazed sometimes when I substitute teach that every student seems like has their earplugs in, or whatever, their earbuds in, and they have noise going into their heads while they're studying. And I guess I can't fathom studying amid the noise. And that's the way it is in our spiritual life. There's so much noise, so many voices telling us this and that God says, wait a minute. Take out the spiritual earbuds or whatever you have and just be silent before me. And so the psalmist makes it very clear, upon whom is he waiting? God. How is he waiting? In silence. And then why is he waiting? He says in verse 1 as well, from him comes my deliverance. He is the one that delivers me. And he goes on and expresses it. He alone is my rock. He's the one that brings stability when everything else seems to be falling apart. He is my salvation. He will deliver me from those things that are bringing harm to my soul. And he is my fortress. He's my safe place. He is the one to whom I can run for spiritual, emotional, and physical safety even. So I hope that as we look at these verses, that we see that God is the one alone upon whom we are to wait. Waiting in silence. Why? Because he's our rock. He's our salvation. And he's our fortress. I'm a little sorry about the voice today, but I hope that the Lord will use his word in each of our lives and learn to walk and wait in silence upon God alone. You know, he wants us to wait upon him. And you know what? He's waiting for us to come to him. May the Lord bless you today, tomorrow, and the next.